Opening the Mashpee Select Board meeting for Monday, May 19th, 2025, in the Wacoit Meeting Room, Mashpee Town Hall, 16 Great Neck Road North, Mashpee, MA 02649. The meeting is broadcast live on local cable channel 8 and 1072, streamed live on the Town of Mashpee website, www.mashpeema.gov/channel-8. It's 5:02, and we'll convene the meeting in open session. Please join me and stand if you can for a Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could we have a moment of silence, please? Okay. Minutes, review and approval of meeting minutes. Monday, April 28th, 2025, regular and executive session.
So moved.
You want to separate them?
The people that did not participate will have to abstain,
Yes, thank you.
so you don't have a
We should
quorum.
hold the minutes.
So if you don't object, could you just hold those?
Of course. Thank you. Thanks. Okay.
We're just going to do it later, right?
What's
We'll
that?
do it later when David's here.
When David comes in,
Yeah.
yes.
You'll be all set when he gets here.
Yes, we'll
Yeah.
have 3. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, thank you. Appointments and hearings. Presentation on Mashpee Harbor Management Plan, UMass Boston, Urban Harbor Institute. Hi, Bob.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. For those of you who I haven't met, my name is Bobby Tomeno, and I'm the Director of Natural Resources and the Harbor Master for the town. I'm also the Chairman of the Harbor Management Committee. The Harbor Management Committee was formed in January of 2023, and it consists of 9 members, 6 being town employees, 1 being a tribal member, 1 being a Waterways Commission representative, and 1 being a Shellfish Commission representative. Funding for the plan was provided by the Massachusetts Seaport Economic Council with a local match from the town. Over the last 2 years, the committee, in coordination with the Department of Natural Resources and our consulting team, has been engaged in the development of a comprehensive harbor management plan for the town. This plan is intended to serve as a strategic framework to guide the long-term use, maintenance, and protection of our maritime resources, balancing environmental, recreational, and commercial priorities. The draft plan addresses a wide range of issues, including water quality, mooring and vessel management, shellfish and habitat protection, infrastructure needs, and public access. It reflects extensive input from the committee, town departments, regulatory agencies, the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, and local stakeholders. This evening is an important step in the planning process. We're nearing the completion of the draft plan and preparing to release it for public review and comment. As part of this next phase, we'll be holding a final public meeting to solicit community feedback before finalizing the plan and presenting it, along with a detailed set of implementation guidelines to the board in the fall. At this time, I'd like to introduce our consultants with Urban Harbors Institute, Kristen Juderich and Allison Novely. They provided professional guidance throughout this process. They'll be presenting an overview of the plan and outlining the proposed next steps towards finalization and implementation. And I'll take any questions the board may have afterwards.
Thank you. Welcome.
Just pull this down. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your time this evening. My name is Allison Novelli. I'm a research analyst at the Urban Harbors Institute at UMass Boston. As Bobby noted, our director, Kristen Uterwick, is also with us tonight. I also want to say welcome to Steve McKenna from the State's Office of Coastal Zone Management. He's also here in attendance for us today. So we also want to, Bobby went over this a little bit, want to call out and say thank you to the members of the committee that we've been working with for the past 2 years. I think some of you all were maybe involved in appointing them, and so they've been a really fantastic group to work with. Michaela is on our committee, so thank you very much for your time. Also want to say thank you to David Whedon, who we've also been spending some time with on engagement. But the other members of the committee being Ashley Fisher, Chris Avis, Drew McManus, Brian Tobin, Richard Cook, Richard Noonan, and Dale Oakley. So they've been a very great help in establishing this plan so far. I also want to call out that we are working with Woods Hole Group on this plan, and they've been an incredible asset in creating a number of the technical reports that have informed the draft plan so far. So on the agenda today, we're going to go over why the town is developing a harbor management plan, an overview of the process so far, a brief summary of the topic areas, and then talking about the next steps in the plan's approval process and how that will work. So why is the town doing this? Bobby can obviously offer some more information, but a harbor plan really serves as a roadmap to establish the town's goals and priorities with regard to its harbors and waterways and its vision for what it would like to be going forward. The plan will help develop strategies and resources and think about action items that the town will want to implement. As Bobby noted, it addresses a number of different important topics: recreational and commercial boating and fishing, water quality, public access, climate change, and we'll go over some of those later in the presentation. The Harbor Management Plan will also serve to inform decision-making for the town going forward, and also helps to position the town well for future grant applications, having gone through a public process, gathered public input, and laid out the town's goals and interests going forward. So Mashpee is doing a state-approved harbor plan. There are some plans that go through only municipal approval, but Mashpee, this is the first, I believe, harbor plan in several decades, and is going through the state approval process, which is defined by state regulations. And so this diagram outlines sort of the basics of the process and where we are. It begins with the initiation of a notice to proceed from the state. And so we have gone through a number of these different steps, including public comments and public meetings. We are nearing the end of the process of drafting the draft plan to be released to the public very soon. And so that plan will hopefully be approved by the committee at its next meeting, with a goal of having a public meeting sometime in June. So we're hoping for the plan to be available for a week or two ahead of that meeting for folks to have time to look at it and read it and come to the meeting with questions. And then again, having that comment period be open for another week or two after that to allow for comments that the committee will then come back and review and think about how to edit the plan if needed based on those comments. After that, the plan is going to be shared for a dedicated 30-day review with the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe. They've been involved in this process since the beginning, so we've been having a number of ongoing engagements with them that we'll talk about as part of the timeline for this. But sorry, I've lost my train of thought. So after that, I'll actually, let me go on to the next slide so you can see this timeline a little bit better. So right now, I can go back to the beginning and say we've had a number of public meetings throughout the yearly process for the last 2 years. These were held at the public library, at the club at New Seabury, at Mashpee Village, and at the government center for the Mashpee tribe. So we've tried to have a good geographic diversity and trying to attract a different target audience at each of these meetings. There was also a public survey that was released for about 2 months recently over this winter, available both online and in public and in paper form. There were over, I think, 800 responses that we received, which was fantastic to see the town's engagement and folks really sharing their thoughts on things. And so, as I noted, right now we're here at the committee reviewing the draft plan stage. It will be hopefully released very soon in the next few weeks, public meeting this summer, going to the tribe for a dedicated 30-day review period. And then hopefully we'll be back in front of you all by the fall with a final plan to then share with you for your review and hopeful approval. After that, the plan is then sent to the state for a required process. There will be a 30-day public comment period initiated by the state, and then they will have their own consultation with the town period. So you should expect about 3 to 4 months from when this this board approves the plan, to then it being sort of officially approved by the state. And then comes the very exciting part of implementation. And so the plan will have drafted all of these important goals and recommendations, and then it is back to mostly the municipality for implementation of these actions. And so really wanted to, the plan outlines this, but want to encourage this group to think about either charging the existing harbor management committee with the implementation of the plan, or creating a new implementation body as needed to make sure all of this great work gets going on the ground. So let's see. The harbor plan topic areas. These are a rough overview of these topic areas. The plan includes both background information about the historical and existing conditions on all of these topics, and then lays out a strong list of goals and recommendation actions for each of these different topics. And these topics were created, they were developed from the public process, so these were not pre-established in any way, but they really came out of the feedback that we heard from the public about what they felt was really important in town. Okay. So we went over this a little bit, but next steps, the draft plan is going to be shared with the public. There'll be a public meeting, which we encourage you all to attend if you would like. Additionally, additional review by the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, and then back to you, this group, for review with the draft plan, which you'll be getting in plenty of time to read in detail, and then on to the state review process. And so we encourage you all to stay engaged in this process. You're welcome to attend the public meeting, attend the public process, or get in touch with us individually if you have comments or questions or concerns about anything related to the plan. We really appreciate all of the great engagement that we've had from both the public attending meetings about the plan, and then also the numerous interviews that we've conducted with town staff and local organizations. So we've gotten some really great feedback from everyone here. Any questions?
Accept any questions from the board?
I just have a quick one. As far as why it's a state-approved plan, is there benefits from, like, access to grants or state or federal assistance because it's going through the extra process of state-approved plan?
One of the advantages with the state-approved process is related to permitting, the Chapter 91 process, the Chapter 91 waterways management that the state oversees. Part of the benefit is related to having the harbor plan document that information, the priorities of the town, so that when the state goes to do their permitting process, and Steve McKenna can speak to this as well, they have to take into consideration an approved harbor plan, so the information that's there as they're making their decision-making process. But yes, the grant making as well, I think, is very important. Having an established harbor plan that lays out your goals puts you in the position to say, we've had a public process that's been informing all of this. There's strong town support for, all of, these various different actions. So, and given that, in particular, the Seaport Economic Council funded this project, I think they enjoy the process of, or maybe not enjoy isn't the right word. I think it is strategically beneficial to say, they helped fund this harbor plan. Now we're perhaps seeking funding from them to implement some of the recommendations from this plan. It's sort of a nice sequence of events to say, the funding is building on itself and achieving a lot of great work.
Thank you.
Dave, may I?
Yes, sir.
Are you reaching out to any other towns that have a similar process to sort of collect best practices?
That's a great point. The Urban Harbors Institute has done a number of harbor plans across the state, and so we have a good history of engagement with municipalities. So, and we also follow the work of other harbor plans, that other consulting groups might do. And so, we have been in touch with the towns of Falmouth and Barnstable through this process to, talk with them about some of the ongoing issues and make sure that they're aware of the process and informed about things.
Thank you, Allison. I've been involved with the plan from the beginning, and it's just really exciting to see it come to this point. I've been reading it first in its entirety and then in pieces as you took us through the review process, and was able to review the whole thing this weekend again. And
Some light reading, right?
Congratulations. It's moving along.
It is, yes. Thank you so much. It's very exciting to see it all come together and be so well informed by both the town staff that have been involved and the public.
We hope the public comments and expresses their voices and concerns, and so it's a comprehensive document that's inclusive of input of the community. And thank you for all your work.
I think you weren't here yet, David, but thank you so much for the time that you've shared with us so far in this process as well. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Appreciate it. I apologize for missing part of your presentation.
Great.
Any other questions? For the presentation, do we take any questions from the general public? Would that be appropriate or no?
We weren't
Prepared?
planning on it. I think the harbor master had, and director had opened it up to the possibility of questions for him, but
Okay.
It was just more of a informative session for the board, Mr. Chair. So I wasn't really looking for public comment at this point. That's what the public meetings are for. But if the board had any more questions for us, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any members of the board have questions for Chris?
Great job.
Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you. Moving on to the next items, did you approve the minutes?
Yeah,
You want to go back to that?
yeah, we gotta wait for you.
So we're going to dial back a little bit as a result of my being late, and we're going to review and approve the minutes from Monday, April 28th, 2025, regular and executive session.
So moved.
Has everyone had a chance to read over those?
Yes.
Okay, accept a motion to approve Monday, April 28th, 2025, regular and executive session meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none. Michael?
He's abstaining. Yes.
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
You abstain.
Abstain.
Two abstentions, and I'm a yes, with three positives. That motion passes. I'd accept a motion to approve Monday, May 5th, 2025, regular session meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none.
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Abstain.
This is the same. I'm a yes, so three positives, two abstentions. That motion passes. Those minutes are approved. Moving on to next item on the appointments and hearings, a review of recommendations for award of contracts. Catherine Laurent, DPW Director. Welcome.
Good evening. So it's that time of year. We are looking at some of our contracts that will become due in the next fiscal year, FY26, on July 1st. The first one is for purchase of gasoline and diesel. We have a fuel depot at the DPW, which is used by all of the town departments to fuel their vehicles. So this is a bid that we secured through a collaborative with Barnstable County, the other municipalities in the county. And the good news is that the bid came in lower than what we are currently paying, so that's always a good thing. So I'm recommending that the contract be awarded to Sprague Energy for both gasoline and diesel.
I would accept a motion upon the DPW Director's recommendation that the board select the award of contract for fiscal year 2026 for purchase of fuel for gasoline. We'll do them one at a time, to Sprague Operating Resources for the fixed price of $2.4850 per gallon.
So moved. Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none. Tracy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Yes.
Richard? And I'm a yes as well. I'd accept the motion based on the recommendations of DPW Director Catherine Laurent for the award of contract for fiscal year 2026 for the purchase of fuel, that being diesel, to Sprague Operating Resources for the fixed price of $2.4326 per gallon.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none. Tracy?
Yes.
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Yes.
Michael? I'm a yes as well. Those both were unanimous. Thank you.
The next recommendation is for operation of the Mashpee transfer station and hauling of recyclables. So while the town owns the transfer station itself, we do contract out its operation, the daily operation. So the recommendation is for award of a contract to Gotta Do Contracting for operation at the cost of $531,265. That is a 2.5% increase over our current fiscal year. And then for hauling of recyclables to the locations listed at the various trip rates.
I'd accept a motion to accept the award of contract to Gotta Do Contracting LLC of Jordan, New York for fiscal year 2026, based on the Catherine Laurent, DPW Director's recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
In the amount, if I amend that, just for the operation amount of $531,265 with the fee schedule per trip as attached. Amendment to the motion.
A motion with the amendment, sure.
Second.
Hearing a first and second. Any discussion on that?
I have a question.
Yes,
I have a question that I just think would be interesting to members of the public. What determines where the recyclables and bulky trash are hauled? Is there, I know there's different prices, so I'm just curious.
Sure. So we have relationships with different processors. So we do get monthly reports from them in terms of either what the fee is or what they might be paying for materials. So I do take a look at it. So it is my decision. I direct Gotta Do where to haul it. But it is some facilities will only take certain materials, others will take everything, but we do take a look at, what is going to be the best price for the town.
Thank you.
The only question I have, if no one else has questions, did we receive any other competitive?
So this is a contract that we haven't bid, so it is exempt under state statute from having to go through the procurement process. We did go out to bid, I'm going to say probably 3 years ago, and only received one bid. So since then, we've just been doing new contracts with our current operator at the CPI escalation.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, Michael?
Yes.
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 And I'm a yes as well. That motion passes unanimously.
The next set of contracts, these are some of our annual contracts that we bid on a 2-year cycle. So these are all for the first of a potential 2-year contract for various services. Some are related to road work, others are related to facility maintenance.
Okay, we have a list here, so I'll go through the first. I'd accept the award of contract for the following bids. Catch basin cleaning to be awarded to R.J. Gabriel Construction Company, Inc. for the fiscal year 2026, as recommended by DPW Director Catherine Laurent.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion on catch basin cleaning? Hearing none.
Yes.
Michael? Michaela?
Yes.
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. I'd accept a motion to approve the award of contract for cold planing to Lawrence Lynch Company, LLC, for the fiscal year 2026, as recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing the first and second, any discussion on cold planing?
I have a quick question,
Yes,
which
Michaela.
actually was generated from your previous question. I know for R.J. Gabriel Construction, we had 3 bids, but for the rest of this list, we only have 1 bid. And if you could just take us through why, the process.
I can't explain why. So we do, as required by state statute, we do advertise in a local newspaper. We advertise through the state publication combis. We advertise through goods and services. So it is out there, but it could be just, the Cape effect that, most of these are not businesses local to Mashpee or to the Cape. So a lot of them are having to travel down here, and it just may not worth their.
Thank you very much. That's helpful. Thank you.
Do they still, follow up on that, do they still have the Dartmouth report, which has like construction projects within the region? Is that still utilized?
I haven't
It's been a
seen
while
that
since
in
I
a
looked at
long
it, yeah.
time. There are a lot of, when we do go out to bid, we do, we are contacted by the Construction Journal and others of those types of publications, and so they do also put it out to their members. But yeah, as you've noted, there only are a few that we ever receive competitive bids on.
Okay, sounds like we're making every attempt to broadcast it as far and wide as possible. It is what it is. So if there's no further discussion on cold planing, I'd accept, we'll go to Tracy first.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Yes.
Richard? And I'm a yes as well. That's unanimously approved as presented. The next one is for electrical services. I'd accept and entertain a motion to recommend, based on Catherine Laurent, DPW Director's recommendations for the annual bid of award of contract for the fiscal year 2026, electrical services to be awarded to Bayside Electrical Contractors.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none. We'll start with Richard,
Yes.
Michaela, John?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. That one also is unanimously approved. Is this the last one? No. We have the next one. I'd accept a recommendation and a motion to award contracts for the fiscal year of 2026 for the equipment rental services to be awarded to Lawrence Lynch Corp.
So
as
moved.
recommended.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion on equipment rental?
Yes.
Michael, go. You have the floor.
Yes.
No, I thought you,
Oh, I thought you had a question.
no, I don't have a question.
Hadn't gotten that far. Are there any questions on the equipment rent? Or
No.
comments? No. All right, we'll start with Richard.
Yes.
Michaela.
Yes.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. That, too, is unanimous by all present. Moving on, we have, I'd accept a motion to entertain the award of contract for fire suppression for the fiscal year 2026 at the recommendation of Catherine Laurent, DPW Director, as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion on fire suppression contract award? Hearing none. Tracy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Michael? And I'm a yes as well. That's unanimously approved by all present. I'd entertain a motion to award contract for fiscal year 2026 for guardrail services, Premier Fence LLC, to be awarded the contract for fiscal year 2026 as recommended by DPW Director Catherine Laurent.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion on guardrail services? Hearing none. Richard?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Tracy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. That's unanimously approved also. I believe the last one, pulverizing services. I'd accept a motion to award contract for fiscal year 2026 as recommended by DPW Director Kathleen Laurent for pulverizing services to be awarded to the contractor Muri Paving and Reclamation
So moved.
as recommended.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion on pulverizing? No? Tracy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Yes.
Richard? And I'm a yes as well. Michael. Sorry.
So there is.
That too
a
is
s-
unanimously approved.
There is
by
a
all
stone
present.
bid
Oh,
on
the
there as
stone, I
well.
didn't even see that one.
Almost
My
done.
apologies. Last one, I hope. We'll accept a motion to award contract for fiscal year 2026 for stone supplies and services to be awarded to PA Landers as recommended by DPW Director Kathleen Laurent.
So moved.
Second.
Just a clarification, is G-Lopes the part of that, or is,
So there are two different stones that we bid, so.
So that's
a
the next
contract
motion.
is being, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
awarded to
so
each.
I'll amend the motion to specify half-inch crushed stone delivered services to PA Landers as recommended.
so moved. Second.
So that's a first and second on the amendment, and any discussion on this now being the base motion with the amendment? Hearing none. Richard? Michael? I'll get that right by the end. Michaela?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. I'd accept a motion to award of contract for stone services to be delivered, modified rock fill to G. Lopes as recommended by Kathleen Laurent, DPW Director.
So moved. Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none. Tracy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Michael? I'm a yes as well. That motion is also approved as recommended unanimously by all present.
So just one more. So these are, again, annual bids. These are renewals, so these are either I think actually they're all the second year of a 2-year bid. So again, related, some are building facility services, others are road services, but this is the second of a 2-year bid.
Thank you. So moving on, the next
Is it
one,
a batch?
what's that?
We can do all of them,
As a
Yeah.
batch?
we can do them as a batch, correct?
All right.
That's your,
So I'll accept
If
a
you choose to.
motion. I'll accept a motion to recommend the award of contracts for annual bids. This is a renewal also, based on the DPW Director's recommendations that contracts for the annual bids be extended for fiscal year 2026. Those bids including alarm monitoring inspection to Cape Cod Alarm, chip seal to Allstate Asphalt Inc., crack sealing to Superior Seal Coat Inc., elevator inspections and services to BBE Corporation, generator PM and service to South Shore Generator, HVAC service and repair to Mechanical Air Controls, line painting to Markings Inc., paving and related work to Lawrence Lynch Corp., and plumbing to JSP Plumbing and Heating Corp., street sweeping to Millennium Maintenance and Power Sweeping, Mashpee Middle High School wastewater treatment facility, operations to Weston Sampson. That's all.
so moved. Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion on these contract awards? Hearing none. Tracy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Yes. Michael? And I'm a yes as well. Those are unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is the update and discussion of the housing production plan. We welcome Town Planner Brian Tobin. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Again, for the record, Brian Tobin, Town Planner. I'm just going to go ahead and pull up some slides here. So as Mr. Whedon stated, I'm here to chat with you all tonight about the status update for our housing production plan. So I'm going to begin with the housing production plan overview. We're going to discuss a little bit about the work to date and then get into proposed next steps, and then there will be an opportunity for this board to ask some questions. So first is, what is a housing production plan? So a housing production plan is effectively a 5-year plan, and it's catered to and focuses on the town's goals for producing housing with a specific focus on affordable housing and affordable housing units. So it's a requirement, or its requirements are set by MGL Chapter 40B, which generally governs affordable housing in the state of Massachusetts. The primary requirements for a housing production plan are threefold. First, it requires a housing needs assessment. Second, it requires a section that discusses the town's housing goals. And third, it discusses the town's implementation strategies for reaching those goals. What that looks like for next steps in terms of adoption and approval is this, the planning board will first have to vote to adopt it. Then the select board will vote to adopt it, and then it will get sent to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities with the state, who will then approve, ideally. A couple of key important points is that under MGL Chapter 40B, 10% is a common goal, reaching 10% affordable housing units, or excuse me, 10% of the overall housing stock for the town to be restricted as affordable units on a year-round basis. That's what some folks colloquially refer to as safe harbor, although technically it's referred to as meeting the statutory de minimis requirements. So it's an important thing to keep in mind. There are other implications, though, of course, for the EOHLC, but for the housing production plan. But a key goal that many towns keep in mind is reaching this 10% of the SHI. All right, so why have a housing production plan? First off, it's a proactive approach. All right, so it helps towns reach their affordable housing goals and think about it proactively before actually taking action, thereby being more cost effective and strategic. It includes an annual production target. So it's each year towns typically set a target for production goals that they like to meet. That's set by the CMR. It's usually 0.5% for 1 year or 1.0% for 2 years. In the town of Mashpee, that looks like 37 SHI eligible units per year. So in order to reach what's actually called safe harbor, which is more temporary, if you produce 37 restricted units in a year, you enter into a 1-year safe harbor. And if you produce 74 within a 2-year period, you enter into 2-year safe harbor. So what practically does that look like? If you get into safe harbor, you have more local control over incoming 40B applications. So what 40B effectively does is it constitutes, or it allows for a developer who's submitting a 40B application to waive most, if not all, of the local zoning requirements. So that's how you can get large-scale apartment buildings or multifamily units in single-family zoned areas or areas that are zoned for agriculture. They seek waivers before the ZBA, and it's very difficult for a town to oppose those waivers and or even negotiate them out with the developer. When a town is in safe harbor, though, it provides a little bit more leverage and a little bit more of a playing field to allow for those kind of negotiations to occur. All right, so the Mashpee HPP timeline. This slide is in part retroactive and in part forward-looking. So this process started a little while before my tenure, back in September of 2023. So we're, about a year and a half to almost 2 years in the making now. Its first version went through substantial planning board revisions as well as general revisions that incorporated feedback from town officials, town committees, and of course, public comment and members of the public. So the most recent draft, which is the second draft that's a product of multiple red line revisions, was just recently released on May 5th, 2025. So it is up on the Planning Department webpage. It is available for anyone interested in reviewing. It is 261 pages long. We worked, thankfully, with Barrett Consulting on a lot of it, who helped carry a lot of that burden. So we do appreciate their efforts and their assistance. And also on our webpage is the history of red lines and revisions. So you can go and you can see the very first draft, you can see each red line version after that, and then at the very top you can see what's our current version. So we have proposed next steps, which I'm going to get into in greater detail in the next slide, but it's kind of the game plan that ultimately will lead to getting state approval, as I mentioned at the end of it all, and we are shooting to do that in late June of this year. So it's a very aggressive time frame. So as you can see here, this is what we'd like to do. This is our target goals. This Wednesday, we are having a joint Planning Board and Affordable Housing Committee meeting. We met at the last Affordable Housing Committee. We met, myself and both my chair, Ms. Mary Wagon, met with the Affordable Housing Committee and discussed this time frame and coordinated this upcoming workshop that we're having this Wednesday with them. We have also formulated a HPP working group, and that working group consists of a member of the Planning Board, 1 to 2 members of the Select Board, 1 member of the Affordable Housing Committee, myself, and of course, Barrett Consulting. Given the aggressive time frame, I decided to go ahead and take the initiative of formulating this working group by reaching out to members of each of those boards and committees with, of course, the town manager's office approval to put together that working group. So that consists of, from the Planning Board, my chair, Ms. Mary Wagon, from the Select Board, because Mr. Whedon and Ms. Wyman Colombo are both connected indirectly to HPP matters, Mr. Whedon being the liaison for the Affordable Housing Committee and Ms. Wyman Colombo being the liaison for the Planning Board at present. I've asked them both to participate jointly, so Mr. Whedon will be available for the first working group meeting and Ms. Wyman Colombo for the second working group meeting. And then from the AHC, the current chair, Mr. Michael Sparks, will be a part of the working group. So our first working group meeting will occur 5/28 at 9 a.m. This will then be brought up again at the Planning Board meeting on June 4th. The public comment period will then close on June 6th. One caveat that's important to note about the public comment period is also on our webpage is an opportunity for the public to comment in writing via email by sending their comments to hppcomment@mashpeema.gov. After the public comment period closes, ideally we will have we will be on this board's agenda again on June 9th. June 11th, we will then have the final working group meeting. Ideally by June 16th, we will have the final plan with the hope of the Planning Board adopting it on June 18th. And then ideally this board meeting on the topic once again on June 23rd with a vote to adopt is our hope. After that, we will shortly turn it around to the state, and our hope there is that they will approve it as well. Now, just a couple of quick comments about the aggressive nature of this time frame, or a few things that I hope this board and the public will also keep in mind. The first is that this has been a year and a half in the making. So while this seems very aggressive, it has been a long process with a lot of public comment incorporated into it. And the most recent adjustments, I think, really accurately reflect a lot of these comments from the public. One of the themes is water quality in the environment. And so we made sure the consultants really put that in. A second theme, of course, was also emphasizing affordable units over market rate units in terms of our production, which ultimately is the purpose of an HPP. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is there are perfect HPPs and then there are finished HPPs. So we're not going for perfect, we're just going for good. In fact, we're kind of going for good enough. So we just want to get it done. And the reason for that is it does have important legal significance to have one on the books. You're not eligible for those temporary safe harbors that I talked about if we don't have one that's adopted by the state. And so that's a big part of our thought process there as well, is we just really would like to have something adopted by the state. Now, to that effect is I personally view this as a living document, and the planning department intends to view this as a living document. So as things change, we may tweak it. So for example, if the town acquires new property that's suitable for a multifamily unit that's on sewer and doesn't have a negative impact for the environment that we don't presently have, well, then that's something that we'll adjust, or we'll use to adjust our implementation strategies accordingly. So it's not set in stone. It is going to be a living document, and it is something that we'll need to adjust in 5 years or update in 5 years anyway. And it's something that the town has, in my professional opinion, gone long enough without. It's really just time to get it done. So without any further ado, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Members of the board? Yes, John.
Mr. Tobin, I just got a quick clarification question regarding, you mentioned like temporary safe harbor.
Yes.
So you're talking about it's added protection from, I don't want to say from 40Bs, right? But you have added guidance towards that 40B or restrictions that are enabled by, how is that?
So
Can you
it
explain that?
can serve in two ways. There's a soft way it serves and a hard way it serves. Soft ways, yes, it does provide guidance for what the town would like to see from a 40B perspective indirectly.
Okay.
In a hard way, having one adopted by the state is what opens up the opportunity to enter into temporary safe harbor. Now, that is still conditioned upon meeting your housing production goals. So here would be an example. If we have one adopted and a 40B did come in that, say, was 40 units, which is over the 37 units that's our set housing production goals, we would then, after certification by the state and after the approval of that 40B comprehensive permit, enter into safe harbor for a year, which means if any applications come in within a year after that, the town, it more levels the playing field in terms of the town's ability to negotiate with that developer. The reason for that is we can attach conditions that ordinarily the state would not uphold. Technically, you could even deny an application if you felt it wasn't good for the town. And it just gives you, the fact that you could deny an application if you felt it wasn't good for the town just gives you more leverage in negotiating out with that developer in the event that it's a project that could be good for the town if they made adjustments. But it doesn't require, this is an important thing to keep in mind, and this happens as misinformation in the 40B world often. Safe harbor does not require you to deny an application, and that's still going to be up to the ZBA who reviews the comprehensive permit.
To that point, though, so that's with or without attaining the 10%, correct?
That's without obtaining the 10%. That's before.
Perfect. That's,
Yeah.
I just,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, that's.
That was a really long-winded way of not answering your question. I
you- like,
apologize.
It was more of a clarification and actually for the public, because there are restrictions, or if we attain that over the 40 units and we file for safe harbor, even if we're under the 10% requirement, it does give us more control, if you will.
Absolutely.
From a town perspective.
No,
That was
absolutely.
my point.
Yeah, that's
So
why
thank
it's
you.
referred to as, or I colloquially refer to it as temporary safe harbor. Technically, from a legal perspective, it is what safe harbor is, but folks will often refer to safe harbor as the 10%. But yeah.
Correct.
That's really meeting the statutory de minimis requirements. So this is temporary safe harbor, which you would only need if you had not yet attained the more permanent safe harbor. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Of the 10%.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Clear to me.
Great.
Thank you.
Yep.
Michael?
I haven't given Mary Wagon too many compliments since I've known her, but over 3 years, she's worked really hard at this plan, and the planning board has done a wonderful job of putting it together. So I just want to say thanks, Mary, I see you over there. I just shocked you, I know. But you guys have done a great job.
Yeah, I would second that. I mean, I'm very fortunate that I'm coming in on the tail end of this, and we are very fortunate to have a chair like Mary who's so involved and has been really kept her eye on this. I purely view my role in this as kind of the whip, to use a political term. I just want to help get the ball across the end zone here. But so many other people before me were calling the plays and getting us to where we are now. So
Well, Dave, I was thanking myself too, because I was on that board.
I knew there was something in there that
Well said, Mike. I agree. Thanks, Mary.
we all echo, I think. I feel comfortable speaking for the board. We do thank the planning board. It has been a long process, and a lot of work has gone, a lot of information sessions and things, and community input is, I think we're really trying to achieve that in this document, and commend the planning board for the work that they do to try and get us across the finish line on this. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes, Ms. Town Manager?
Do you?
Oh, I didn't see.
I agree with Michael and with what David just said with regard to the work of the planning board. And I'm really excited about this plan. I was very concerned with the last housing production plan we viewed in its entirety because I didn't find it to be Mashpee specific. It didn't take into account our sensitive environment with our need for housing. So there wasn't an integration of the two. This does that, and it's thank you, and thank you to the planning board. It's really good work.
Excellent. Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it.
Anyone else? Town Manager?
I just wanted to inform the board that this is the document. It's multiple pages. We'd love to send it to you electronically, but if you would like a hard copy, we will provide it, and obviously to any person in the public. But we can send it electronically, a lot of pages. And good job.
So we do have several dates coming up. They're going to come fast. Do want folks to pay attention. These dates are posted on the town website?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. And anyone that has any questions about them, please refer to the town website for further details on those meetings and what's going to take place at those meetings. And we welcome the public to participate.
I did have one question. For the June 6th, the public comment closing, what happens to the feedback that gets received between now and then with the turnaround? Although I'm really excited that this is.
Yeah, of course. Our hope is at each of these meetings, the public will come out and comment. We're also accepting emails. And the idea is to redline things in real time and just keep it moving
Great.
forward. Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your presentation, and we
Absolutely.
look forward to
Next.
seeing you
Okay,
at the next
maybe up
meeting.
next on another
We do
matter,
have, wrapping up the housing production plan, moving on to the Barnstable County Shared Regional Housing Services Program, funding alternatives for the first quarter. Brian Tobin, Town Planner.
So I don't have slides for that, so I guess I'll sit down over here. Thank you again, and again for the record, Brian Tobin, Town Planner. So this is just a quick update to this board regarding the Barnstable County Shared Regional Housing Services Program. This program is a program that was originally federally funded by an ARPA grant. It is a countywide program that multiple towns throughout Cape Cod have been participating in. It's been an opportunity for town planners as well as other individuals involved in other town officials involved in affordable housing to convene on a regular basis to discuss and share ideas, as well as to receive consulting services on matters that are of particular interest to them. The ARPA funding will expire on June 30th, and the county has taken it upon itself as an initiative to continue the program in a self-funded format, and by self-funded, they mean by funding directly via participating towns. At present, 12 out of 15 towns have opted in to this program. 1 out of 15 has indicated that they're not interested in continuing on with the program, and another 1 out of 15 has indicated that they are interested, but just in a year, and that's because they have already obtained some countywide grant money that will allow them to have the same effect of the program individually as an individual town. I am interested in having the town of Mashpee continue to participate in this program for at least a year. This program is what allowed us to retain Barrett Consulting and receive 30 hours at no cost to the town to help take the HPP home. It will be good to see what value add this program could bring to the town, and particularly the Affordable Housing Trust and the Affordable Housing Committee over the course of the next year. And so it's something that I think would definitely be good for the town to give a shot for the year. And in order to do that, we do need funding. We're looking at obtaining slightly over $9,000 to participate in the program. There is presently a pending CPC application for a significant portion of that funding that I anticipate will be positively acted upon tomorrow at the next CPC meeting. The caveat is that those funds won't be available until the fall, and this program will likely continue, if not right on July 1, shortly thereafter. So there will be approximately 1 quarter of the program, i.e. 3 months of the program, that won't be able to be funded by the CPC funds. So we are looking into potentially having the AHT provide that funding or another source. So I just wanted to update this board regarding that. I did bring this to the attention of the AHC, i.e. the Affordable Housing Committee, and the Affordable Housing Committee did agree to draft and send over a letter of recommendation in support of covering that quarter funds, contingent upon looking into 1 or 2 other means of funding first. So that's where we're at with that. Happy to answer any questions or.
One question I had is, I didn't know if there was any funds that could be allocated from if there was any Cape Cod Commission mitigation funds related to affordable housing that could be earmarked for this, to cover this.
We can definitely check into that, sir.
Any board members have questions for Brian on this matter?
I
I
just,
think it's a good idea if we can do it, for sure.
yes, I just want to point out that, as you mentioned, these funds have helped us have Barrett Consulting for the HPP. They were instrumental in the environmental review that we had to do for the Community Development Block Grant application. They offer 40B training and tech assistance, which is something that's part of the HPP as written. And, I mean, they just fit with the HPP that you've spent all this time putting together. So I think it's important to have them if we can, especially since it's only for 3 months. It's a 3-month gap.
Good point.
I'd make a motion that we approve that money from the Affordable House Trust if we can for this.
Can we do that? We have to convene the
We have to convene.
trust in order to entertain that kind of motion. And we're willing to do that, I think, as at a joint meeting, but or convening of the trust, but we can't do it at this time.
If the direction of the board is to check into a potential meeting, then we can do that.
I would say it would be a good time to convene the Affordable Housing Trust and maybe put that on the agenda. If we could explore any kind of funding options to cover that $2,308.50, and have that information at that meeting, that would be good.
We'll follow up on that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So next meeting.
Perfect.
That's great.
Good.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll try and get those things to you and keep you posted on upcoming meeting of the trust.
Very good, I appreciate that. Thank you all.
And is there a deadline to get that in by, just for our awareness, to set the agenda for the trust or anything like that?
Well, certainly not later than June 30th, I believe.
Right, it
Would be, yeah. But I don't believe we have a hard
earlier
and
the
fast
better.
deadline as of yet. All right,
Okay,
great. Thank you.
thank you. Next, we have communications and correspondence. Under new business, we have review of applicants for one town-appointed tenant member on the Mashpee Housing Authority. I'm reading as presented on the agenda. Lisa Messenger, if you could come forward. And we also have another applicant, Evan Jeremiah Braun. Also, is he present? No?
I was just going to say that we have, thank you for
Hello.
being here. Hello. We have the process from the state, and then we have our policy 001, and what we've received, and again, thank you for being here, but what we've received is two documents with Lisa's signature and the other applicant's signature. We've received both of those, but it hasn't gone to committee, and we don't have any other information. So process-wise, since the state says that the town will appoint, is the proper way for the town to appoint to follow our policy 001?
Is that an authority? Is it a committee? It's not a committee.
If I might just add one thing. My name is Lisa Meisinger, and thank you for having me today. I have been serving on this board for, this September will be 8 years. And I've been living in the Mashpee Housing Authority for just about 12 years now. And when I initially started serving on the board, I did this because 12 years ago I was homeless, and I have 2 young children, and Mashpee Housing Authority made a difference in my life. And in my current years, I have had a chance to have more and more input as my knowledge grew, and as even my current job outside of serving on a board kind of aligns with some of the topics that come up. And so I'm hopeful that you guys will approve for me to do this again. It's exciting for me to be able to give back to the town. And I know there is another gentleman that would like to be on the board. In the past, we had to sign up for town ballot to be approved. And this is our first go-round of the state changing the rules, and for you guys to be able to appoint me, hopefully. Thank you for listening.
Yes,
What I was going to say is sometimes the state process may clash with the town process, and in this particular case, I would presume that the state protocols take precedent. And in terms of the spirit and the intent of your 001, I think that might be a unique set of circumstances, or I should say, this is a unique set of circumstances versus that situation where you're appointing somebody to a position that would typically serve in a different capacity, even though this is an appointment by the board.
For me, that's my takeaway as well. I think the 001 applies more to committees, commissions, and things, and advisory roles.
That's what I was
that
trying to
regard.
emphasize.
And where this is an authority, housing authority, with different responsibilities, I feel more comfortable following the state process.
If I may, I don't disagree with what anybody's saying. I just wonder, following the state process, it just states, I'm looking at it, it says the town reviews candidates. So if you're saying that this select board is the town rather than following the policy, then I'm okay with that, but I just don't know how we're defining the town. So you're saying,
You guys are the town.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were following both the state policy and our policy when it says the town. That's,
I understand the argument that you technically might be outside of the parameters of the spirit of the intent of your 001, but by the same token, I think, without giving you a legal opinion, that this is a little different than compared to your typical committee, commission, council appointments that you would go through, and obviously 001 would be adhered to, or most likely you would not appoint. But in this situation, I think it is a unique set of circumstances.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I agree. I mean, again, it's a good point, but I do think this kind of falls outside of the norm, and especially where Lisa's already held the position for, what did you say, how long?
September will be 8 years.
8 years. I would feel very comfortable with moving forward without following these standard committee and.
my only concern is that we're following a process. So if we're following the process, I'm fine with that. I'm not arguing for doing it one way or another. I'm process-oriented, and I just want to make sure that we're following the process as we should.
I think it's new to all of us that this is the new process now. Because in the past, it was the town that I was told that I would have to put my name on the ballot, and the town would vote me in, and that's always what happened. And then, to my knowledge, they changed the laws, and I was told I should be here to present my request to you guys.
I'd have to say, I really appreciate you presenting to us, because with the use of these, there really is no information or background or resume. It was essentially a checkbox, and so that was my struggle, was how do you collectively appoint someone without, depth or breadth of their collective experience and what they bring. So thank you for sharing
Yeah,
today.
it's our pleasure. We also try to follow all the processes down to the line, and part of why we got me here today. But if you guys have any questions for me, by all means.
Would you accept a
John?
motion?
I would accept a motion to appoint, is Evan here? Evan Braun? No? And both candidates were provided notice that they would be on tonight's agenda. So I'd accept, Lisa came, put herself here to answer any questions. She's showing commitment in doing that. And so therefore, I would entertain a motion to appoint Lisa Meisinger to the Affordable Housing
So
Authority.
moved.
Thank you.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none. Tracy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Michael? I'm a yes as well. Welcome to the
Thank you.
Affordable Housing.
You guys have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
You too.
Next, we have review and recommendations of appointments to the following. Sewer Commission, Cody Erickson, Member at Large.
Hello. I'm Cody Erickson.
Could you give a little background and for information for the input for for awareness to the general public and those watching and the board, why you want to be on the Sewer Commission and what you may bring to the table?
Yep, I have about 9 years' experience as a surveyor right outside Detroit, Michigan, installing sanitary sewers, catch basins. I've read the Clean Water Plan. I actually met Meredith a couple years ago, and she mentioned that there was a vacancy. I'm very passionate about protecting our waterways, our lakes and ponds and the bays. I understand nitrogen is coming from our septic systems, and I think the plant and its development is a positive step forward. I look forward, when I interviewed with the Sewer Commission, I met Jared. I watched the video of the plant tour. I look forward to hopefully touring the plant physically myself. And I definitely understand that Rome wasn't built in a day. Engineering is a passion of mine, and I think this whole project is good for Mashpee and all of the Cape because algae blooms and our waterways, you know, people love to swim in our ponds and lakes, and it's becoming more and more dangerous for residents and visitors and pets. And I think it's something we definitely need to address, and I believe the Sewer Commission is positive for Mashpee and any town, because, you know, as much as we may not want it, Mashpee is growing, and we need to address, you know, our septic systems and kind of connect everyone into this process, as much as it may cost each homeowner. I live in Summerwood condos, so I got to see firsthand some of the construction difficulties coming through, and pretty soon we will have to connect from our homes to the lines that were installed about a year or so ago. So yeah, I would love to be a part of the process and work with all of you, work with Meredith and the other members of the Sewer Commission. I do feel that my background as a surveyor, I measured many catch basins. We were talking about cleaning the catch basins. I measured many catch basins that weren't clean. So you can imagine in the Detroit metro area. So that, you know, that was, I definitely feel that having that surveying and engineering background, I can help any members of the public or the committee or the board, if they don't understand certain processes or whatever, I can hopefully explain some of that to them in a way that makes sense. Because when you tell someone it's a catch basin, a lot of people don't even know what a catch basin is. So I feel that could be valued as a member on the Sewer Commission, and I'd just like to be a part of the community.
Any members of the board have questions for Mr. Erickson?
Oh,
I do.
Ms. McHale.
I was there when you were interviewed by the Sewer Commission, and I think it would be helpful for the board to hear about your time commitment. Do you have the time to dedicate to this? And I know there's a learning curve. There certainly is for me when I read about what's going on. So do you have time for both the learning curve and to be at meetings?
Yeah. Traditionally, I was a bartender and server all my life since high school. That's how I came to the Cape from Sun Valley. I moved to West Dennis about 8 years ago. In that time, I met my wife, who's a local Falmouth. I've lived with her in Summerwood condos for the last 7.5 years. And she's been an Uber and Lyft driver since it became on the Cape. She now started her own livery business. And I currently just drive for Uber and Lyft because she got me out of restaurant field. And Uber and Lyft is push of a button, work what you want, work when you don't want to. So there's absolutely no commitment in terms of work. And yeah, I definitely have time available because there really is no other commitment in terms of, you know, my time schedule.
Anyone else? Did you have any follow-up?
I don't, thank you.
For me, you know, I think with any kind of engineering background, I'm sure you have to deal with a lot of technical matters, and you are going to have a lot of homework to do to get caught up. There's a whole lot of information that they have to consider, and they're working through to support the sewer work. But, you know, your background, I think, will contribute to the conversations, I imagine, and you sound committed. So I would entertain a motion to appoint Cody Erickson to the Sewer Commission as a member at large.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any further discussion on the appointment? Michael?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
I'm a yes as well. Welcome and thank you
Thank
for
you all.
stepping up. Next, we have Affordable Housing Committee appointment, Sharon Mueller, member at large.
Sharon K. Mueller, 693 Great Neck Road South. Highest education level, a master's in communications. Work experience at such companies as General Electric, Sperry Remington, Con Air Corporation, Avis, and AT&T. All in marketing. More specifically, in product and service development, which I feel would benefit this committee. Why am I interested in joining this particular committee? Because I feel seniors have limited income and need housing. The other group of people that also have limited income are young people just graduating, completing their education. If we don't want to lose youth because they cannot afford to live here, we need to do something, and we need to do it now. Any questions?
Members of
Not
the...
after that. Well said.
So, Sharon did come before the committee. The committee reviewed a couple of candidates, and Sharon's score was the strongest. I would accept a motion. This is the last seat to be filled on the Affordable Housing Committee. We're eager to do so, and I'd entertain a motion to appoint Sharon to the Affordable Housing Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any further discussion on that matter? Richard? I mean, Michael. I swear by the end of the meeting. Michaela? John?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Tracy? Yes. I'm a yes as well. Welcome to the Affordable Housing Committee.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Full committee, though. I love that.
Yes, finally.
I know. Nice,
I
nice
can go
work.
back to being liaison. Next, we have review of the application for a one-day liquor license. We welcome Andrea MacArthur, Vineyard Vines, 21 Market Street, to the podium.
Hi, how are you? I'm Andrea MacArthur, and I am from Vineyard Vines at 21 Market Street. And I'm here to get a one-day license for an event that we're hosting at our store on June 26th. It's a Thursday. It says one-day liquor license, but just to clarify that my application was for beer and wine only, not hard liquor, just beer and wine.
Is this something you intend to do annually, or is this the
No,
first year you're doing
the reason
it?
why we're doing it is we just finished remodeling our store. So we are partners with the owners of Vineyard Vines, and I actually work for Puritan Cape Cod, and we own that Vineyard Vines location on Market Street. So we did a big remodel, and they wanted to do a little something special for our top customers. So we were having just a few hours that evening, and we just wanted to give, serve a little beer and wine, a tasting, not a glass.
Okay. Members of the board, any questions, concerns?
I don't see any problems.
Sounds
Everything will stay inside the
good.
store, no one's leaving with anything.
Oh, it's staying in the store, yes.
I'd accept a motion to approve the one-day liquor license application for Vineyard Vines, scheduled for Thursday, June 26, from the hours of 5 PM to 8 PM. Slow down, Mike.
I'll second the,
Are we okay now? Can I say okay now? Yes.
Okay.
second.
All right, here in a first and second, any further discussion on that matter? No? Mike? Michaela?
Yes.
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 Tracy? And I'm a yes as well.
All right, thank you so much.
Congrats. Next, we have review of special event permit applications. To this, we have 3. The first one being Social Justice Rally, to be held Sundays in May and June at the Mashpee Rotary. Is Bob Ritchie here? No. Indivisible Upper Cape, they're not present.
Were they, only because, were they possibly contacted by Carol, or do you know anything? Were they supposed to be here on?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't tell you whether they were or not, honestly, because I don't know. Generally, everyone is notified. This is a group that was here a couple of weeks ago, I think, on a Saturday or Sunday, for the same purpose, and they were approved then. But as far as notifying them on this time to be here, I can't honestly say.
But it is the same, I
Yeah,
didn't mean to, I'm
no,
sorry.
go ahead.
But it is the same group that had come in before.
But for a different event, or did they modify the dates?
What they did is they decided they wanted to do it through May and June, rather than, they had initially asked for one date, and now they want to bring it from May through June.
So it's an extension of
Well, they
the,
skipped a week, but anyway.
So they want to do it the 25th, June 1st, June 8th, June 15th, June 22nd, 29th? Is this the rally at the Rotary?
Yes.
I mean, I wish they would come in and be present myself, only because, how many people are we expecting, that kind of thing. I don't know. It'd be good for awareness purposes, minimally.
Well, I can get them on the next agenda, but it would be after their first date that they requested.
If you would like, you could approve the first one, and then for the following, have them come in before the board.
How does the board feel? Do you,
A lot of foot traffic along the Rotary, but,
I'm a little concerned about starting to have rallies now that Memorial Day is here. It's, the crowd's picking up and there's enough. I'm always concerned with rallies at the Rotary specifically when there's the traffic increases, possibility of accidents, people looking, trying to get on and off the Rotaries. Even, I don't know, that's just,
If I may, the time is limited. It's 12 to 1. They've come to us before. We approved it. I really like the suggestion of the town manager to approve the first one, then ask them to come in and to go from there. we haven't had any difficulty. It's a social justice rally, and it's, as I said, an hour long.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Approve the first one and see how it goes. Yeah, and that,
Well, I think we already approved one, so that's why I am amicable to, approving the next one and then having them come in before the next meeting, just to, so we have opportunity to answer any other select board members' questions and they can speak to John's concerns
And there were no issues
at the last.
at the last one.
Okay. So I'd accept a motion to accept and approve the social justice rally to be held on Sunday, May 25th specifically, and to table the approval of the other scheduled rallies until they come before the board.
so moved.
Second.
Discussion, Tracy?
Yeah, what would be the reason of not approving all of them? Is that we have these the traffic concerns or questions that we wanted to ask them directly about, or that they're not currently here? Though they had already done one or two already?
Usually when someone comes in for a request of
Right.
signage or a rally or anything, usually they come before us unless they discuss prior with the chair.
Which we don't.
They're
no.
not
Okay.
available to come and here's the reasons, but
I see.
that's just standard, correct?
Or if it's an annual event that we're
Yeah.
familiar with,
Good point.
we're less apt to ask them or require them to come in. I think this, just where this is new, they have done one, but, it'd be good to make themselves available just to hear and
Right.
afford select board members opportunity to ask questions. I think it makes us feel more comfortable is all. I don't have any other reasoning not to approve, other than, giving the board opportunity to ask questions. That's the only thing I have. To Michaela's point, it's only an hour and it's on a Sunday. I don't have any other issues myself.
I have a follow-up question. As I'm looking at this, it made sense to me to approve the first one and bring the person in as you suggested. Now I'm looking, and the other dates are June 1 and June 8th. We don't meet until after that.
Then I'd modify it if you have no objections to include the second one.
The second and third.
Second and third, first
So
and eighth.
June 1st and June
Yes.
8th.
Yes.
They're looking up the dates that they want in June and July. I don't know if you want to table this for a moment.
Oh, so there may be more?
What do you say, Mary? They're looking up dates?
So, may I approach?
Yes, Mayor. If there's clarity on them.
Hi, I'm Mary Wagon, 35 Ashumet Road, and I did attend the rally at the Rotary this weekend, and I was asked to be the Mashpee point person for the organization, and I apologize that I did not see the item on the agenda ahead of time. So I'm in touch with Diane Richet, who is Bob's wife, and they're saying July 6th is the next date that they would like to have, with a rain date of July 5th. After that, August 3rd, with a rain date of August 2nd. So they only want to come once a month to Mashpee, not every week. I'm like, oh no.
So, may I?
Mm-hmm.
Through the chair. Could you clarify then that we have the 25th, June 1st, June 8th, June 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th in front of us? Could you tell us which of those dates they're looking at, if you know?
The dates that they're looking for are, in addition to what has already been approved, is July 6th with a rain date of July 5th, August 3rd with a rain date of August 2nd.
Totally confused.
I think you already approved something in June.
No, we didn't.
This past weekend is what we approved.
25th is what you were looking at, approving.
Correct.
So the dates
So
don't really...
I'm more than happy to come back on a different date with more information if you'd like.
If they could come back at our next
Yep.
meeting and just be present to answer any questions and solidify, amend these dates so that we have something, that would be most helpful.
I apologize for any miscommunication, but there shall be no more miscommunication anymore.
Alrighty.
Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
So I accept we already have a motion. So I'd accept a motion to amend the previous motion to table this item until further notice,
So moved.
indefinitely.
Second.
All right, having a first and second, any discussion on tabling this item? Hearing none. Tracy?
Yes.
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
Michael? I'm a yes as well, so that item's tabled. The next one, we have a special event, the Veteran Banner Unveiling, to be held Sunday, July 13th, 2025, from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Richard DeSarga, if you could come forward, member of our Mashpee Historical Commission.
Richard DeSarga, 65 Shields Road, Mashpee Historical Commission. This is actually the second year of the Veteran Banner Program, and so we're looking to use the gazebo and the community garden. And if you're not familiar with it, I'm sure you probably are, but we have 19 lampposts in the park, and we have 2 veteran banners that go with each one. There's one on one side and one on the back side, male and female, and we have them that go from the Civil War this year up to currently serving in the military right now. And we're just looking for a kind of an unveiling. It's really, we had it last year, it really is an impressive ceremony, seeing grandparents and little kids seeing their father, or grandfather, or grandmother up on the banners. So we're looking to do that again this year. We kind of made a pledge that we would not charge the veterans because we want to honor them. And we also didn't want to put a burden on the taxpayers. We said we would not do anything from the tax rate. And so we would do fundraising through the business and civic communities. And both years have responded very well, so we have more than enough money to put the banners and stuff up. Just to give a shout out to the ones that have contributed to make this program possible. Solarizing, Mashpee Night at the Pops, John Pond's Village, Linda McGuire, Sound Bookkeeping Solutions, and Cape Cod 5. So they've contributed, and we have enough money. I also want to give just a shout out to Catherine Laurent and our DPW. I know this is a busy time of the year following the events after the 4th of July, to put the banners and everything else up, and she's just very supportive, and it seems to work very well. So if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Any questions? What time would that be held? It says on here from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on
Yeah.
Sunday, July 13th, for the audience. I heard the question. Any questions from the board?
If you may, I just want to say thank you to you and your team and the whole thing. It's a great thing that you guys are doing. I very appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
I think this is wonderful, and it's great that you've also fundraised to make it happen.
Thanks.
I echo that. I'd entertain a motion to approve the Veteran Banner Unveiling to be held Sunday, July 13th, 2025, from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion on that? No? Tracy?
Yes.
John?
Absolutely.
Michaela?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And I'm
Thank
a
you.
yes as well. Congrats. That's unanimous by all present. Next, we have the special event Seaside Le Mans to be held Saturday, September 6, 2025, from 10 p.m. to 5 p.m. Is Christian Davenport present? No?
This is one that we do annually, and
Annual event.
so there's no reason for them.
Right. I'd accept a motion to approve this year's 2025 Seaside Le Mans to be held Saturday, September 6, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So
as
moved.
presented.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion on this matter? No? Michael?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. That's unanimously approved by all present. Review, next matter on our agenda is the review and execution of an intermunicipal agreement between the town of Mashpee and Mashpee Community Media Center, Inc.
So,
Say that 3 times fast.
I don't know what happened with that.
Chris Ball, Mashpee TV. With me is our board president, Jim Tedesco.
Hello. Welcome.
We're here tonight looking to extend or get a new contract. We felt that in the last 3 years, or actually the last 5, we've come a long way. In the last 3 years, in this contract, some of our bigger things have been, we've gotten the only HD channel that we know of with community access TV on the Cape. We redid the town hall, and I think that was a big improvement, and we've all enjoyed. And our town meeting this year, this last one was the first one we've done with robotic cameras, HD robotic cameras. We felt it went over very well on our part. We're still learning. Our next step in that is to be able to go live from anywhere in the town. We also hooked into the town's open Cape, so in the case of an emergency, we can broadcast from any town location that is on that open Cape. I've been very fortunate that I've had some nice, young, smart employees, co-workers that every day push me to exceed the expectations of what we do, and we feel we've become hyper-local, and we really go after the local community and try to do what's local, and that's what we've put on that HD channel. Any questions Jim or myself can answer?
One question, are there any substantive changes to the agreement?
no.
No.
Not to my knowledge.
No, sir.
So, town manager, anything to add?
I sat down with Mr. Ball, and I think he wanted a higher percentage. I kind of didn't like that idea, and here you are, and everything stays the same. But we are willing to work with MTV for the purposes of trying to address a couple things that we discussed.
The biggest challenge we have right now, and it's no surprise to anybody here, I'm sure, everybody's cutting the cable. When the cable revenues go down, our revenue goes down. We're trying to do more. We're looking for other ways to make money, grants, whatever we can do. But it becomes a challenge because all our expenses comes up. Mr. Collins, Mr. Taylor, and myself have sat down, and there are certain things that we can get help with through other ways, and we'll work together to get the job done.
You've done a great job, I think.
That's fair.
And I must say, Chris does deserve a shout-out because he was very open and receptive to the fact that we wanted to keep MCAP money, and he's challenged at times, but he provides a great service. Appreciate the conversation that we had, and looking forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the, where am I at?
Intermunicipal.
I'd entertain a motion to accept and approve the execution of the intermunicipal agreement between the town of Mashpee and the Mashpee Community Media Center, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
And the term on this is what, from May 23rd, 2025 through,
Years, yeah.
what's the end date?
Top of page 3.
It's three.
3 years?
It's 3 years.
So May 23rd, 2028,
Expiring May 22nd, 2028.
or 22nd, 2028, rather.
I have no objection to 5 years.
So I would just amend the motion to reference the sunset date of May 22nd, 2028 for the term of the agreement.
So moved, amended, right.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion on the agreement?
Just that we're really fortunate to have Mashpee TV, do the communication you do with the community and all the coverage you provide. It helps develop an informed citizenship, or citizenry, I should say. So thank you.
Just second that. Chris, you and your team, outstanding, and you've stepped up a few times when there was need for not a standard televised event or whatever, and you made it happen. So, much appreciated.
My
You and
team
your
made
team.
it happen.
So at this time, I'll take the vote. Tracy?
Yes.
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
And Michael?
Yes.
I'm a yes as well, and I echo the rest of my colleagues' sentiments that all the great work that you and the organization does and everything you provide for the town, and you cover a lot, and you do a good job at it, and so thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you. We try, and like I said, it's not me, it's the team. Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Have a good night.
Take care. Next, we have reorganization of the select board. This is something we typically do. I have to say, it was a pleasure serving with Carol as chair over this last year, and that I've enjoyed being the vice chair throughout that time. With that said, I would accept a motion. I would like to recommend myself personally, Michaela, I think has done a great job in stepping up. She comes very prepared to the meetings. She always contributes very meaningful input to every conversation and dialogue. And I'd like to afford her opportunity to be chair for the next cycle. So I'd accept a motion to appoint.
I make a motion, we appoint Michaela as chair.
Second.
Any discussion on that? No?
Oh, Michaela, you don't want to say anything?
Michaela, do you want to accept?
Yes, I would be honored. Thank you.
So I'll take a vote on that first. Richard?
Yes.
I'm Michael.
Whenever you say Richard,
That's
I'm
gonna
gonna say
hang
no.
Rolls
me
right
out.
off your tongue.
We got to work on your last name. And you were a yes?
Yes.
All right, Michaela.
Yes.
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. So Michaela will be the chair for the next session. And I'd accept a motion for.
I'd like to
Vice?
suggest that the vice chair remain as vice chair for the coming year,
Second.
if you'll accept it.
Does anyone else want to be chair? I think I've held the position for quite a while now, 2 or 3 years. I'm willing to do it, but in all fairness, if somebody else wants it, I'm no opposition.
I think it's great.
I think you have to go to Richard.
I'm sticking with my motion.
All right, any discussion on that? Any further discussion on that? No? Richard, Michael, you got me.
Richard said no, but Michael said yes.
Michael says yes. Michaela.
Yes.
John.
Wow, yes.
Tracy.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. All right. And for clerk, I'd accept nominations for clerk.
I nominate John Cotton to be clerk.
Second?
Any discussion on John being clerk? Hearing none? Michael?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I just wrote something down, and it's more for clarity purposes for maybe it's benefited Tracy, but we actually talked about it, and it ended up that way anyways. But Select Board has a standing practice to change and rotate the chair position every year, and I just was curious if you all agree that this represents a great practice that we should continue to do, and that all committees and boards in the town of Mashpee should follow the same practice. And I was just curious if everyone had the same opinion that the rotation of the chair position in any town or committee in the town is good to have change of leadership, so there's not one standing or dominant opinion for any length of time. Just putting it out there to the committee.
Did you want comments?
Michaela?
Are you asking?
Yeah,
for
I mean,
comments?
just-
I think it depends on, I think you should always reorg. I mean, we need to reorg. I think it depends on the specific circumstances. I think oftentimes it's better to rotate. You don't always have people who are equipped or ready to take on a chair. So sometimes there won't be a change. So I wouldn't want us to set that as hard and fast, even though, but.
No, and this is more of a, and I agree. It's not it's not a 001. It's not written. It's more of an opinion. That was more of an opinion statement.
Oh, okay.
Encouragement. That's all.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. People need to want to step up and take a leadership role, and if they don't think it's ever going to change, they won't. So, yeah, it's a good idea to say that, yeah. Well, you're right, can't make it mandatory.
And I agree with everyone that it shouldn't be a requirement. I think it's a good, to afford the opportunity for, fresh ideas, share the workload even, and bring that up every year for discussion. And so there's a shared approach to serving in those roles. It's something that I think is just good practice,
Yeah.
to your point. So
We don't practice impeachment in this town.
I know when I first got on, it was a partial term, and I wasn't ready to step up after serving on for some time. Then I felt a little more comfortable, but like just getting on, it was awkward. I wasn't looking forward to it. I was a bit nervous, the first time. Heck, I'm nervous tonight. I can't even get Michael's name right.
It's Michael. That was Richard.
Did we vote on the clerk? We did?
Yep.
We voted, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Accepted the nomination. Did
Yeah,
we vote?
because I voted
Lost my place from the...
Republican.
So now we have a review of the
schedule.
proposed select board meeting schedule, July through December. I would like to, I would like personally to recommend that we bump the time back to 6:30. It's been challenging. Our workday runs till 4:30, and, it leaves me no time to get over, and, so oftentimes there's things happening at the end of the day that it's just challenging for me to get here. At the 5 o'clock is like really early. I don't know if anyone else has any.
I have, I do think, I like the earlier time, but to that point, would a suggestion of be 5:30 be more, just give you a little bit more flexible? And then if some people do work an 8 to 5 necessarily, like to the clock, they would still have time. But I also think from a, town staffing, town manager, assistant town manager being here, not having, they can actually stay and
Don't
not
worry
have to go
about
home
us.
and come back. No, but it's, again,
don't worry
taking
about us.
everything under consideration, I get that. But I do happen to like an earlier start time. But if 5 to 5:30 would be a compromise, I would recommend, I'd be very good with going to 5:30.
I'm going to make it really interesting. I would love 6 o'clock. This is diversity of perspective, right, in real life. I also find it challenging to the 5 o'clock. If any meeting or any responsibility at my job goes over or anything for any reason, or I get stuck in traffic late, automatically. And I think 6 o'clock is reasonable. People can maybe grab dinner and kind of situate themselves a little bit after work and then get into the meeting. I feel like 6 is right in between 5:30 and 6:30, so just might be a happy medium.
In addition, it's difficult if residents want to attend a meeting and they're working out of town to be meeting at 5. So it's not a conflict for me schedule-wise, but if people are working, it's a conflict for them to try to get here.
I'm going to give a quick call to Bobby Burns, see what time they close. I'm okay with any time.
I think 6 would be, I would also suggest that 6 might work better for the general public.
I'm not opposed to 6. I mean, 6 is late enough. It gives me at least some time to
That works for me,
decompress
too.
from work.
I'm not going to suggest 5:45, so.
All right, so do we just kind of amend when we approve the scheduled meetings?
Yeah, just
modify
just
the
indicate,
time in
yeah,
that
just indicate it'll
motion?
start at 6, and we'll take care of the rest.
Okay.
And the meeting wouldn't have to change on the 20th. It's already at 6.
Right. So everyone has before them the recommended Select Board meeting schedule from July through December 2025. The only modification to what's presented to us is that the meetings would start at 6 o'clock, aside from the town meeting, which is already scheduled for 6 o'clock. And I'd accept a motion to approve, accept and approve that schedule as presented with those
With the
reference
change to
changes.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
So moved. Second.
Hearing a first and second, all those in favor, we'll go with Michael,
Yes.
Michaela.
Yes.
Yes.
John, Tracy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So that's unanimous by all present. Next, we come to public comment for all those patiently waiting. We don't have anybody. Would anyone like to come forward? No? So we don't have anyone signed up
I
for
think we
public comment?
have someone come.
Oh, yes, Lynn, come forward, please.
Hi, Lynn Barbie, Surf Drive. A couple of very quick things. I wanted to say when our DPW Director Laurent was here, that I have really appreciated how helpful the staff at the transfer station have been. Since I've had some limited walking, they've offered to take my glass bottles or whatever, and I really appreciate that, so I'm glad they're getting a new contract. What I would like to see is that little shack that has the food compost actually be a space where people might want to put their food compost. Because then when it rains, you have to wade through a puddle. By Sunday afternoon, 2 or 3 barrels are like overflowing. So I think if we're serious about really taking food out of our waste, our garbage, we should really have a much better system there, or just a more adequate structure to put those barrels in. I know that the recycling people don't empty those. It's a natural farm or something that they take the compost. But it really is, I see more and more people doing it, and they fill up really fast. And the other very quick comment is, I would love it if we could arrange for Chris Ball and his team to do a training with any committee chair who's interested on how to be in this room or any room and do the Zoom. Because it seems like we're always trying to figure out what gets plugged in, what gets turned on. And I know when we had the CPC meeting and we had one person on the committee who was doing by Zoom, sometimes we have to call him to say, how do we do this? And so there's a lot of, we have this good technology, but I think a lot of us, me included, don't really know how to use it properly, and that's something that they could teach us.
We can schedule that with IT.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd accept a motion. Wait a minute, let me go through we don't have any other further old business, any additional topics by members of the board. We'll go on any liaison reports. None at this time. Water quality updates?
We bring attention to the Webner report about the very large algal mats in Wacoit Bay that are so large that, large algal mats in Wacoit Bay that are so large, they're interfering, not that that's our primary concern, but they're interfering with boating as well as the environmental concern behind them.
Boats
So-
overheating, yeah.
Boats were overheating, the mats are so large. So I think it really indicates the need for urgency in addressing Wacoit Bay. And I know that's, we were approved to do the exploration for recharge at the town meeting, but that it's that bad this early in the season is an indication that we really need to act with urgency and keep this moving forward.
Thank you for that. Town manager updates?
Yes, thank you. Just want to make sure that you're all aware that the 5-year sewer cost projection did go to the Cape Cod Commission. There's also a renewal of a 3-year intermunicipal agreement between the town and the Mashpee Water District. That hasn't come before the board yet, but the same terms and conditions right now have been sent over to the Water District for review, and we're waiting for their feedback. Also, there was a resignation from the Capital Improvement Program Committee as the school representative, so there'll be a new school representative because the finance manager over there resigned. And obviously, the housing production plan, which you saw tonight, will be available on the planning department's page of the town website, with a hard copy available to review at my office, as I mentioned earlier, or at least I think I did. And obviously, if any board member wants the full copy, then we'll provide it. In terms of the Boys and Girls Club, just want to let you know that legal did in fact take care of the MOU or MOA that was discussed at the last meeting, and that is now in the hands of the Boys and Girls Club. And I also wanted to mention that I know that the Cape Cod Commission is seeking some information relative to a community activity center, and that's going to be more of a policy issue that will be addressed by the planning board and also potentially by this board in concert with the planning board. But I'll wait for the planner to elaborate on that.
John, as clerk, would you like to read the notice for the executive session?
Executive session. Motion, I move the board convene in executive session pursuant with General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to discuss strategy relative to negotiations with the non-union personnel deputy fire chief, Brendan Ramsey, having declared that an open meeting regarding this topic may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the town. Select Board will reconvene in open session.
I accept the motion, and any discussion on that? All members say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'd accept a motion to accept the contract agreement as, for personal service, as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none? Michael?
Yes.
Michaela?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. That
all I
motion
have.
passes unanimous.
Motion
So,
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second. Any discussion on that? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay.